Today's episode is proudly sponsored by Hellbender Vinyl. For those of you that don't know, Hellbender is a vinyl record pressing plant located right here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, doing high quality, professional, top of the line record pressing, baby. We finally got one here. There aren't very many in the world, let alone the country, and to have one right under our nose is an insane resource. So if you are a musician looking to get some stuff pressed to wax, I highly recommend checking out the folks over at Hellbender. Tell them Sykes sent you. I've always wanted to say that. Without further ado, let's get into today's episode. Sit back, relax, and let's start the beats. Perfect. That's just how we're gonna do this. Okay, so here we are. It is a lovely Sunday afternoon. I want to thank you both for being here. We have 2/4, or is there fifth? Is there 5 people in your band? There's 4. That's what I thought.
So it's half.
2/4 of Pittsburgh hardcore punk rock and rollers. Uprising. Make some noise for the internet.
Yeah.
Yes. So for anybody that is not familiar with your band, as I mentioned,
Get a clue.
you are doing the like kind of like a traditional hardcore punk style sound, anger,
I'd say that's accurate.
topical,
Political.
guitar solos. It's
Solos.
fucking sweet.
Thank you.
And yeah. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Of course.
Glad to be on.
Of course. So I want to start today's conversation with I've been a fan of, I guess, hardcore and hardcore adjacent music most of my life. And I'm a 39-year-old man.
Mhm.
So this has been a long time, right? But even since I was a kid, like when I was 13 years old listening to Earth Crisis, there was always a bit of a I guess just kind of like a macho issue with hardcore that always like rubbed me the wrong way. So it's always like really refreshing, especially now over the past, like, I'd say like decade up till now, there's been a lot more like exposure and a lot more like cool, just, I guess, for lack of a better term, diversity in that culture that has like made me actually like feel good about listening to the music again.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole reason I'm bringing that up is because I feel like you are, as Uprising, contributing to that diversity in hardcore punk, which is great. I think it's hugely important, and I love to see it.
Yeah, we only got one straight dude in the band.
Okay.
One dude and one straight. He's the same. There's no dudes. There's no straight guys except one.
Yeah, the drummer.
And he's an athlete. He's pretty jacked, but he's very like soft spoken and polite too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but
the rest of us.
Nah.
Queers.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, it's like the thing, it's like, it's so funny because to me, it's like if there's a community that actually has something to be fucking angry about and yell about and deserves to like kind of own this type of aggression in music, it is the queer community.
Oh,
That's
more than ever.
yeah. I mean, our album, it's called Under Threat, and the title track of the album is about like queer rights being under threat.
Yeah,
So that's the manifesto right there.
definitely. So let's get into a little bit of like a origin story, I suppose,
Okay.
about the band and why the band is a band, even though the answers are probably pretty relevant if you look out a fucking window.
Yeah. No, so this style of music is always the type of music I wanted to write. Very like angry, political, heavy music. And initially when I like started thinking about this, which was probably 2019, like 6 years ago now, I was more into like the Rage Against the Machine type of music rather than like hardcore punk. So like funk metal almost. And so our song on the album "Shoot 'Em Down," that was from that era. It's more like it's more groovy, but So I was writing music for that, just like riffs, lyrics, not having a band yet, like 6 years ago, and then COVID happened, 2020. End of that year, I joined the band Understatement, which we were on this show 3 years ago, and that kind of it made my solo stuff go on the back burner, and I was very focused on Understatement for a solid 3 years. And after we broke up, I finally had the time, and I was an energy and a like passion to like, okay, I want to keep playing music. I don't want to like stop this train going, so I'm gonna sit down, finish these songs I've had in the back of my mind for years, and then create demos, find people to form a band with, and all of my bandmates I met in 2023.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I had friends over here and I was like, hey, want to play this music with me? Well, I did have friends, but I just mean like I didn't form.
We all like started like interacting because of Uprising.
Yeah. So Eve.
So the way me and Bala met was I went to Millvale Music Fest 2023, and I saw their sister's band Lilith.
You should have them on. They're great.
Oh yeah, they are great. And at the end of their show, they're like, "Hey, if we got any like queer, like gays, theys or
girls, gays or theys,
girls, gays or theys, come up. We need a guitarist." And I raised my hand, and someone pushed me up to the crowd, and they're like, "All right, we'll talk." And then I'm from a town like an hour north of here, and I still live there. At
Wait,
the time.
what town is that?
Butler, Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Famous for where Trump almost died.
Yeah. And Brett Michaels.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and Brett Michaels. Yes, yes, and Brett Michaels still goes to the Butler County Fair every year on 4th of July. Yeah. So me and her like got talking. That was like my first ever like network in the Pittsburgh music scene. And then we're like, okay, hey, we decided to go with like another guitarist, but my sibling Bala is trying to start a hardcore band, and that's more my style anyway. So we started like talking. We started like our first like practice was in like what, July?
Yeah.
2020?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was July. And they had you only had 4 songs then. It was Rise, Shoot 'Em Down, Property Damage, and YDK. So I learned those in like a week.
Mm-hmm. They're easy songs. I'm bad at guitar, and I wrote them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then the initial lineup, along with Eve, was this guy Devin Gaynor, who is in a band called Spiral, and now he's in a band called Sightline. They just put out singles really good, and he's also just someone I met at shows that year who like was interested in in conversations I had with him. He was like interested in like playing music out, and so I was like, hey, I need a bassist. Then he got busy with other bands and had to leave after our like 4th show, and then similar thing, DB, our current bassist, similar to like someone I met like that year, who like wanted to play in bands, played bass. And then for drummers, like they're fucking hard to find in Pittsburgh. I asked about like 12 people, and then I was like, well, they're all busy. Let me just make a tryout post. And Eli's one of the people who tried out, and we liked him the best. So yeah,
it could be.
It's great that we like all get along and have lasted this long for people who didn't know each other until like the band formed pretty much the same year.
About it that way, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I think that's always an interesting. Well, the older you get, not that either of you are very old. We'll be talking about age here in a moment for a very specific reason. But like once you like get out of like high school and having like a consistent sort of social grounding, it gets harder and harder to meet people. So like, finding people in the music community and finding people to like play and even just, I don't know, spend time within that realm is going to be like a lot more natural rather than like we all grew up together and we all are playing these songs. Like that all kind of fizzles away over time.
No, I mean, like, community is extremely important, like, when it comes to, like, just existing as a human. We're social creatures. Like, we're not meant to just be isolated with people we're paid to be around. Mm-hmm. So, like, having, like, a community or, like, a community that, like, I could just go to, like, a hardcore show and I'm going to be around people that are cool and I can socialize with. That is extremely important. And like allows you to like, meet new people, get out of like that isolation that's like so miserable.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I could go to almost any show if I have a night off and I see there's a show, I'll just go by myself because I know there's going to be people there that I know. Mm-hmm. And it's awesome to be able to have that. We're very, very lucky
Yeah.
in that sense. I
Very
feel,
much.
yeah, I feel pretty good about the Pittsburgh music community right now. There's a lot of cool bands and a lot of very nice people, and not too many ding dongs. There's still some.
There's
Always
some
a
ding-dongs.
couple, but once upon a time, I remember in like the 2010s, it was just full of ding dongs. It was ding dong central.
I've heard stories of that.
Yeah, I don't know why, but it wasn't it. But now it's great.
Yeah.
So the band now, Uprising, you've been playing shows for
year and a half.
yeah, I was gonna say not quite 2 years, but more than a year.
Yes.
So that would be a year.
What
and
was
a
it?
half.
October 9th?
Yep.
2023 was our first show. Rock Room.
So how has just like integrating into the Pittsburgh music community been for all of you? How are you feeling about things? I mean, you bothered to record and release an album, so I guess it's going reasonably well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is my first run at like an actual band ever. And this is farther than I expected the first band to go. I got pretty lucky. I will admit, I am very lucky. Like, I was just going from like recording like crap on my computer, like the standard like bedroom guitarist, to like now I've played the same stage as one of my favorite bands of all time, Loathe.
Yeah.
At like earlier this year.
Oh, it's Spirit.
Yeah, it's Spirit
That was a
Hall,
great show.
same stage, and like within like say like 3 years of me first hearing them, I'm playing like the same stage as them, which is a really cool experience.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Bala?
Yeah, well, when we first started out, a lot of the shows we were getting were connections I made from Understatement, so we were the heaviest band on a lot of the bills we played. We were playing with like standard rock and indie bands for a while, but I think we found our crowd, especially in more recent months, playing like, and then we played shows where we're the least heavy band now. We're with like death metal and
I
like,
will say I still think
bands.
one of my favorite shows of ours was Oakland Indie Fest. Us being like the one hardcore band at an indie music fest. It was so much fun.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
Played right in the middle too.
Yeah. Like Limp Bizkit at Woodstock.
With the album, you mentioned you do have a release that it's coming out.
Mm-hmm.
What's the date on
It's
that?
coming out April 25th, Friday.
Very cool. So this podcast is out before then, I'm pretty sure. So people will be able to check that out and whatnot.
All streaming platforms if the distributor doesn't fuck us over again. Yeah, Property Damage, our single we just put out, is supposed to be out on the platforms, but it's not. So it's only on YouTube and Bandcamp right now. But hopefully by the 22nd, it'll be on Spotify.
When did you upload it?
I was pretty late, like honestly. But it was like 11. It was like April 1st, probably.
Oh, it's still not up?
No, I use Route Note.
Okay, I've never heard.
It's free, that's why, and I guess that's a downside. It's a taste. So
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I've never heard of that platform.
if you don't want to pay DistroKid, there, and that's for you.
Gotcha. So, this is like, I guess, a good opportunity to talk a bit about, I guess, the less pleasant side of being an underground artist, because we just talked about DistroKid and paying for things, marketing, branding, blah 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 blah. Now I know that Bala, you are a graphic designer and you are very particular about branding and things like that, which is something that I really respect. And real recognize real. I see you. So what has like the branding strategy been like for your band, if there's a way to talk about it that doesn't sound absolutely disgusting?
No, I got you. Well, when it comes to like the actual like text of posts, like the tone I use is more serious than Understatement was. Like Understatement, like, you're excited! Exclamation points! We're having a show. Or it's like bold letters, period at the end. Show tomorrow. come. Yeah. And we've had a very consistent like just like fonts and color palettes where I'm using like dark gray and like this like muted red kind of very like gritty, a lot of like texture over top. And like I think what inspired me was like other hardcore flyers where just like someone like just drew like hand drawn but like very like grungy looking, like they like you kind of use dots as like shading rather than like different colors, like single So that's been an inspiration for me as a designer, like kind of capturing that style.
Yeah, I think that there is a minimalism that computers have ruined over time, where it's like, why does, I don't know, I really, it's so weird to like promote like I'm trying to think of how to like say this without sounding like too much of a douchebag.
It just sound like a douchebag.
It just it feels so weird to promote like underground music using like high tech looking things.
Yeah, oh, I see what you're
You
saying.
know what I mean? It's just like so something about it never like gels well with me. But I really again just appreciate like I always see like you're somebody that always has a vision.
I do.
And ever since I've met you, you're always like, I remember a very specific moment, Bala, of you. I remember I went to a show at Craft House because I think Molecule Party was opening up for Nightclub.
Yes.
And you were there. And you were just like sitting off on the side on your laptop, like in Photoshop or something, like working on something. And I was like, I get it. Hell yeah. I love this. Like,
I don't remember what it was for, but I do remember that on my computer editing photos. I forget who it was for. I probably had some deadline. I was like, I got to do this. Yeah, I saw Molecule Party. That's what it came for.
But I just like, I love that like energy of just like, if I have free time, I'm going to like, I mean, it's what you need to do. Like you always have to be moving, always have to be grinding on something.
Especially when you're in a band and like right around now, like when you're working on an album, there's so much shit you got to design. You got to do like the CD covers front and back, the disc design, the cassette front and back, which is different shapes. YouTube videos for like every track, which I've been doing. I threw together the Property Damage one like the night before, like at like 1 a.m. I was like, shit, we gotta put this shit out, and I. All right.
Yeah, it's like every little it's like you don't think about it. It's like you get the video edited, and then all of a sudden it's like,
oh, I gotta do the thumbnail too.
I need a thumbnail. I have to write the copy for this, and then you got to share it to all of the platforms, and then it's like, oh crap, this aspect ratio doesn't work on this platform, and it's just like,
I gotta post on Blue Sky. I forgot to do that.
Yeah.
But with like, just like social media in that side of things, outside of just like general graphic design, branding, creating an image for a band, how are you feeling about like marketing art or anything on social media these days?
Yeah. Oh, I think I probably have a different perspective from you. Because you said you grew up back before this was like a common thing to do. Like,
yeah, because I'm like 60 years old.
Yeah, maybe you're not that old, but I like grew up. I'm 25, so I'm not like an iPad baby, but like
the internet's always been a
I was
thing.
learning digital art all the way back in middle school. We had like digital art course learning Photoshop, and so this is like just what I'm used to. And I enjoy it. Like it's one of the jobs I have like professionally involves like creating social media graphics for an advertising agency. So it's cool like doing the stuff I do for like work on something I enjoy more than whatever corporate brand I'm working for. You know what I mean? I know what they expect and the skills I have to use, and like I get to like be way more artistic with it and like go in my completely own direction, which I enjoy.
Do you ever fear like, or do you ever experience like burnout as a result of that?
I don't. I'm surprised. I haven't been burned out yet. This shit's fun to me. I love even like getting the nitty gritty. I really like managing bands. I wish like this is like a job I could get paid for like full time.
Well,
but
I mean,
like
it is.
I'm not getting paid for this.
But it can be though.
It can. Even like on our Bandcamp, I like meticulously every single song. I like. You can put individual genres per song. So if one of our songs is different, I've meticulously get all the lyrics right, get all the credits right, because some songs I play guitar on and sometimes I don't. That shit's fun to me. I don't know.
It's great.
I don't mind not doing it.
I've done that.
I just play guitar. It's great.
It's nice that we don't have to pay someone to do that either.
Yeah.
All right, we need to do a hard, just little pause here real quick. I need to do a little. There's a reason why the audio looks weird here. Hey, Brian, there's a reason. Okay, I need to figure out what that error message is.
Ooh. Wait, I can take a look at it. Ad break. Yeah.
No, it's not visible.
What's not visible?
Okay. That had nothing to do with our audio. So that's good.
Oh, okay, cool.
We're fine.
Okay.
Okay. So yes, we were. Shit, I saw that pop up and it totally threw me off. We were on
Marketing.
marketing and not getting burnout.
Yeah.
Yeah. And managing bands and
Mhm.
Bandcamp, the meticulous nature of-
Genres,
Yeah.
descriptions, credits, all that.
Yeah. So with all of that, have you felt, again, this is like it's such an interesting conversation to have with people that like, so being a band on the internet has been like a reality for the both of you since you started playing music.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the perception is totally different from somebody on my side of things.
Mm-hmm.
With the other aspects of the internet and just like, finding, I guess not necessarily finding, but like the potential to like lose yourself in the noise of everything on the internet. What can we do as independent creators to, I guess, just make what we're putting out worth anybody's time?
Yeah.
'Cause it's such a dense salad of bullshit.
I mean, it's designed to be a dense salad of bullshit.
Yeah.
So it's like it's meant to just keep your attention and not necessarily be good for you. It's just meant to keep you on the app longer. So, I mean, like a good way to do that would be to like, make content that like engages the algorithm and all of that bullshit.
I definitely, well, one thing to say now is having like a distinct brand identity, and that's important. But I do like pay attention to the algorithm. Like you're supposed to post at around noon and like not oversaturate with how much you post. And so I do pay attention to that, which is important. And our posts get good engagement, good enough.
Yeah,
for the most part. Flyers alone never get that much attention. It's always, you gotta have a photo first, then you flip, and then the flyers on the second page.
Sure,
you get like so many more likes. I've noticed that for years.
Yeah, or you have like a good flyer.
Or a really good flyer.
Yeah. I tend to find that like a lot of bands, or it's maybe even goes outside of bands, just creatives in general, I think sometimes do themselves a disservice by trying to post too much. Because I think things start to get lost whenever, if you're somebody that's like 10 days till album release, 9 days till album release, like you do that kind of stuff. And it's just like, I just get exhausted as like, it's like, you're my friend and I'm tired of seeing this stuff. I only have space in my brain for so many things, but I don't know. And also too, like, who the fuck do I think I am being like, oh, all of my friends need to be reminded every day that I'm going to release something.
Wait, okay. So, okay. I that does, if you do that, it oversaturates your kind of algorithm and you get less pull if people aren't engaging with each post. Is how it works. So I don't do that anymore. But for Understatement, I did for album release, I created like 9 posts. So it's a 3x3 grid of like the actual album. So like if you scroll down on our page and go to like April 2022, you'll see like the album in like 9 posts, like each chunk of it. And then those are posted like 9 days leading up to the album. But I don't but yeah, that was cool fun. That was neat. But like, I otherwise I agree. Like,
well, the other thing too is like, there's no like right or wrong way to promote your art. Like if that's something that you just genuinely want to do,
that's it.
Do it.
Yeah. And I also feel like if you have a bigger like online presence, like doing that, like people aren't always on, or like they might not see your post that day, but if you post the next day, it might show up on your feed that next day.
Yeah.
So it's like doing that, if you have a bigger online presence, like that allows more people to catch the message.
Yeah, it's always so difficult. I try to like be mindful of like how I receive content from my friends and then try to apply that to whenever I'm promoting things for myself. Like how many times like I'll see like an advertisement for a show 2 days after the fact.
Oh yeah.
Or like something like, it's like stuff, the way that stuff gets pulled into my algorithm is never in real time. So it's like, okay, how can I use this to my advantage? What type of content can I create that isn't so time sensitive but is still informative? It's difficult.
Yeah.
I really just want to make music
Yeah.
and play shows in front of people.
They do that all for
Yeah.
me.
I like that aspect of it. I like the designing and promoting and marketing and managing.
You
I
do
think
do
it's
a good
fun.
job.
Thank you.
I mean, there is like a fun troubleshoot, not necessarily troubleshooting, but there is like a fun puzzle to solve with it, because there is like a I guess, for lack of a better word, it is a game
Mhm.
of sorts.
It definitely is. Yeah.
And playing that game can be fun if you have the brain for it.
hmm
But it is kind of funny too, in some aspects, to be like doing all of this algorithmic, analytical studying science to promote our
For punk,
little
for
hardcore punk
yeah.
music.
Well, at least I don't pay for promotions. I don't pay to boost a post. That's my punk ethos. That's how I make up.
Yeah,
for
we don't want to give Meta any money.
that too.
Yeah, so you're not so in a DIY sense of things, on a low budget. You had mentioned that, I forget what it was. It was the DistroKid alternative that you had mentioned.
Or Root Note, however you pronounce it. Yeah.
So that's something that I've honestly never even heard of.
Mhm.
I'm wondering if there are any other sort of free to access things that maybe you know about that you wouldn't mind not gatekeeping in terms of helping people promote stuff.
Yes. So Songkick and what's the other one? Bands in Town. Murphy and Francisco, they met me because they saw one of our shows on Bands in Town. I didn't upload it. It was when we played with Jigsaw Youth and the band Thick at Preserving. I don't play that anymore, but that's the only time I played at Preserving. But they just saw that show on Bands in Town and thought it looked cool and showed up, and they've been like very close friends of mine ever since. And so post your shit on there. Like, people outside of your friend group will see it. Songkick and Bands in Town, and also a bunch of like random local, like small newspapers, like will just republish events they see on Bands in Town and Songkick. So like if you like search Uprising or hardcore punk whatever, you'll see a bunch of random articles of like the Latrobe Tribune, like some suburb of Pittsburgh, like that posts your shows just because they just see it on Songkick or Bands in Town and just like republish information. And then there's also one called arcane.city, same deal, upload shows information, but it's like specifically Pittsburgh only. So I found that helps. And it's all free. Just gotta put in the work.
Yeah.
And but for design software, I use the Adobe suite. I pay for it, unfortunately. So I don't have any free tips on that one. But yeah.
I know that there are some like free open source alternatives to Photoshop.
Yeah. Well, I need it for my job because I send files back and forth with my coworkers. So
it's
I don't.
Also
Yeah.
a matter of, you already know those like Adobe suites very well. So like learning a new one is its own like pain in the ass.
Yeah. So speaking of I guess just modern music promotions, design, branding, Adobe.
Mm-hmm.
Who wants to talk about AI?
Oh, okay, yes.
We're gonna have a debate.
This is gonna be good.
We have disagreements on that.
Before we talk about that, I think it's a perfect time to say, this is my 21st birthday.
Yeah.
Woo!
On the day. This is my first legal drink. So
I'm gonna crack open a coconut juice too. Because I don't drink.
this is my first legal drink. Cheers, everybody.
Yeah.
Now let's debate AI.
Well, I don't know if there's going to be much of a debate.
Not
Really-
debate.
I
I
would
wanna-
have some disagreements on it,
Well, we've had some.
but I think it looks awful and it's unethical and it's harmful to workers' rights and the environment. And bands who are using their flyers should be shunned.
Also our sense of humanity in a way. Like, not like I've like I've listened to a podcast where like the people went to CES, like the big consumer electronics convention in Vegas, and there was a lot of AI people there. And some of the stuff that like they're making is terrifying. Like they're trying to make like this like doll, like almost like a doll. It's like a stuffed, like, I didn't see a picture of it, but they had like this like doll with AI in it that's meant to be like a child's companion. And having like a child's like source of like companionship in the world be not a person is deeply disturbing.
Yeah, that's like that bothers me way more than like some shitty bar band that wants a skeleton playing a guitar for their show flyer in fucking Greensburg. But even that is like annoying.
Yeah, that it's more
There's so I got two thoughts on this. Number one is for Christmas most recently, my mom, she's young, she's 52. And she like got me and my sister random Christmas gifts she found on like Amazon or whatever, like random like hoodies or like fucking things you can hang on your wall, like pictures. And they're AI generated, she didn't even realize. And I had pointed out to her. And I was like, I had to teach her like, look how it's like kind of like fuzzy and like all the words, so like the letters won't be like crisp. So like it's like fooling people who are like not even that old.
Well,
like AI is now.
I've been fooled before. Like
I got a pretty good eye for it. Yeah, but I guess it's expanded more just being like, oh, pictures you see on the internet. It's like, oh, people are selling this shit now, and that's
well, of course. Right. I think that like for especially some people too. Like I don't know like your mom's background in terms of like artistic literacy.
I feel like she's pretty artistically literate.
But like I mean, like there are a lot of people that are just in general like not artists, not creative type people, and the way that they will look at like a piece of art is different than the way any of us might look at a piece of art, you know, like it's just like, oh, that's an image. But for me, when I look at like a painting or a drawing, immediately I'm thinking about, wow, how did they do this? But most people, it's just like, oh, that's a skeleton holding a guitar.
What was shocking, not shocking, but like what that experience showed to me was like that this is like expanding more and more into like the real world. Rather, like I said, it was just like you see random images online or like some maybe some famous band will use AI and people like dunk on them for it. But no, it's like products on Amazon that your mom's buying like without even thinking about it, AI generated. And so that's that. And the other thought I have about AI is I actually wrote a song about it. It's not on the album. It's called What It Takes, and I'm gonna change.
It's not on the album.
It's not. Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh, okay.
And the song is about how like workers' rights are like pretty under threat, and under threat album name, and how like it's starting with artists and they're like taking their roles, but how it will expand into other jobs as technology progresses. But I'm gonna rewrite the second verse before we record it because there's so much many more horrors of AI that I learned, like just with like in criminal justice and in war, like facial recognition software, and like, you know, in Gaza, like they're using AI to pick targets, and you know how flawed AI is, so that's a big reason why there's so many like casualties there.
It's not like they care.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
it's not like they care. It's like, this is just efficient.
But there's horrors beyond just the workers' rights issue. I definitely rewrite the song to include more of that in the second verse. Talk about more of the impacts on like people's like lives and deaths, because it's real.
Yeah, and like for me, the AI stuff is just weird. It's like I don't know what's the thing of the week now. Everybody's making action figures of themselves, right?
Yeah.
It's just like it's like I feel like there are people that I know that I've seen like talk shit on AI that are like, well, I want a little action figure. So it's just like whenever they can find something that's going to tickle someone's native interest, they will trick you into using it. And I feel like they're going to get us eventually. They're smarter than us. I don't know how it's going to be. I don't know what I need. I don't know what the world needs to trick me into, like, I don't know. AI podcast editing. I could save some time.
Yeah. One of my least favorite things from like this whole AI revolution is every single time I take a picture on my phone, it gets touched up.
Oh, yeah.
Automatically. Yeah. And I can't find how to turn it off. I hate it. I just want my picture to be the picture I took. But like, you know, like
I sound like a boomer now.
Well,
I just want my goddamn
I don't
picture.
know. I want the thing I saw to be the real thing I saw. I don't think that's like that unreasonable. Because like I like a little hobby of mine is like I like taking like walks out in like Pittsburgh and just like taking like shots of like things I like. You know, if I see a good shot, I take it, and it's like, and then it's like I take it, I see the actual shot, and then I see, whoop, it's changed forever, and I don't like it as much, and I can't undo it. That's just the file
maybe
now.
You should, like, while you're like, it's in your like rangefinder, you just screenshot the screenshot.
They edit the screenshots too.
No,
They touch up everything.
it's fucked up.
Yeah, I think that maybe one thing that you could probably do is do you have an iPhone?
Nope, Samsung.
Oh wow, because I was my guess was gonna be maybe it's an Apple thing, and if you had
Oh,
and okay, so everybody's
well,
doing this now.
Google is one of the biggest players in AI.
I guess that's true.
Mhm.
You need like a Motorola or something.
No, I need to like
Nokia.
de-Google my phone.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's the way, yeah, little things like that do bother me, how it's like everything is AI now. I moved into a house that had like newer appliances in it, and everything is like AI. It's just like my washer is like using AI to optimize your thing, and it's
Well-
like I guess that technically is AI, but you don't
Yeah.
have to call it AI. It's
I know,
just like
that's-
Well, I
it's
mean, like just like how we've had AI in like video games for decades.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it is technically AI, but
there's just like an overusage of the term AI, and I don't like it being used as like a selling point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you
I
remember
agree.
like maybe like 10, 15 years ago when everything was HD?
Oh
okay.
yeah.
And that was like the big
Now
selling
it's
point.
4K now.
Yeah,
or
yeah,
8K. They're going to
Yeah,
8K.
They got up to
Yeah,
8K.
Everything's 8K and
Now give me a CRT. That shit looks better.
I have like an 8K AI, whatever, just like
Yeah, and then it does the resolution scaling. So even though this movie was made in the 1950s, we can resolution scale it to 60 FPS, 8K,
And it looks like shit.
and it looks
Yeah. yeah, it makes well, you know, I think that it's really important that I don't know, I guess I'm thankful to be at least in a world of things where like I'm around people that I don't really need to use. There's no reason for me to use any of this stuff because I know artists and other people to like that we could do this
Right.
stuff, and I
Mhm.
value human
I
creativity.
mean,
And if there are people that don't value it, then those are people that I could just kind of easily back away from.
right, because like I feel like AI is like, if we're not careful, it's the path to the death of community. Because you can just do everything with the click of a button on a computer. What's the point in actually
that's a good point.
creating a community and creating a network and actually, socially interacting as an actual human being?
And it's also the death of like individuality. And it's so funny that like, even though like if we're talking about we'll go back to our skeleton holding a guitar bar band analogy, right?
Yeah.
For a thing that is pulling data from millions and billions of images, why does every single AI thing look exactly the same?
Because it's an average.
Yeah,
So that
it's-
average is the same.
Yeah.
And it's just like
Well, at least it's helpful.
all very like creatively indifferent.
Mhm.
And I don't know, like, I don't know. It's like, how could you like see the result and be like, oh, this looks like a good, unique way to promote my thing?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you're using it, it's probably because you don't like have a good understanding of how it works. So it's like you whenever you like learn a craft, you look at that craft very differently after you learn it. So if you haven't learned it and you just see an AI make it, you're looking at it on like that surface level without like any sort of deeper
Yeah.
understanding. Not saying you can't have a deeper understanding without like, doing it.
Yeah, I
But-
mean, I remember when like Adobe dropped all of like the generative fill stuff. I had a fun day just like playing around with it, like being like, oh, like here's a picture of me in the band, and what would it look like if we expanded the room and it make
Right.
it? I'm like, whoa, that's weird. It looks like shit, but this is interesting. Just like playing around with it, and like
Right.
seeing how it works and stuff. But then it was like, this is like fun as like a little just fucking around. But
Yeah.
then
Right.
it's like people are using it now to, you said, sell products on the
Mhm.
internet and stuff like that, or having like a big thing. I have a lot of friends that are involved in like conventions, like anime, video game, retro, that kind of stuff. And there's a lot of like vendors that will go to sell original art. And now there's a lot of like AI artists that are starting to kind of
Right.
plague those spaces where it's just like, how dare you like
yeah.
pay to rent a table at this like art community thing for like these to sell AI generated images of like Jason Voorhees fucking Michael Myers or whatever
Because
it
it's
is.
easy money.
Yeah.
That's fucking fucked.
It's like it's easy money. It's an easy scam.
And it's I don't know. It's very disappointing to see other musicians use AI too, because like you're next. Like AI music is coming. Like they already have the AI generated like in the fucking stupid Drake singles that
Yeah.
he beef with Kendrick. Like AI Tupac and Snoop Dogg. Like AI music is you want to get replaced, bro? Like don't replace like digital artists. Like you're next.
Yeah.
Do not help support this system and these like AI learning machines. And
Yeah,
that's
there's
my
also
piece.
like I've seen like there's like this like DAW I saw ads for. I forget what it was called, but it had like a built-in AI, and within like like a digital audio workstation, I saw the things it was doing, and it was like you could like say just type it out, say, hey, can you remove this buzz from this track, or like can you like remove this sound or whatever, or isolate something, and it does it pretty well. And it's like, okay, I see why people would do this, but I don't like it. It feels wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's like it's a conversation about like access to technology, which I think is like really important across the board. I think that it's great that we live in a time now that almost anybody can record themselves and get like a really good quality recording of their work on like a very easy DIY scale.
Oh yeah,
but it does kind of muddy the waters because like even though things can like look good and sound good, at the end of the day you still need like a core of like a strong song.
Mhm.
And I think that's the one thing that if computers can write all of the silly little songs that they want. There's plenty of AI generated stuff that I've heard and I'm like, oh, this is silly, but it's also very hollow. It's very there's nothing to it. There's no heart to it.
The blood, sweat, and tears is the best part of art. to
Yeah.
me.
Yes.
Yeah,
And AI doesn't have that.
Well, the only issue with that is that blood, sweat, and tears is the most important part of underground art, the most important of
Right.
alternative subculture
Not the
art.
shit that makes money.
But like like if we're talking about like an algorithm to write like who's a like Jack Antonoff, like the Taylor Swift, Sabrina Carpenter, Olivia Rodrigo producer, that guy.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure like there is an AI algorithm that could replace Jack Antonoff.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I no shade on those specific artists, but God, because I like some Sabrina songs, not gonna lie. But
No,
just
they're fine.
it's just the fact that like
yeah.
a lot of like radio pop could very well have been AI generated like already.
Well,
I
I mean, so much of it is already like just recycled off of like very familiar like chord progressions, rhythm, melody stuff.
Like
that
before
is-
AI, it was already very formulaic.
Yeah.
Because it was a formula that was successful, so they did it again. That's just the nature of like, it's like, oh, this makes money. Let's make more of it.
Yeah, I found that like the way that I try to interface with this is like trying to step outside of myself in a situation and remind myself that even though I am making music and Jack Antonoff is making music, we are both producers, but we live in very different worlds. I find that like that world is not necessarily my world, even though there's things that come from it that I can find enjoyment in. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like a Sabrina Carpenter song is about the equivalent of a bag of Skittles for me.
Right. It's
No
like
problem.
Mhm.
But like there's for me and the art that I make and the art that I want to make people for, I think those are the type of people that are always going to be looking for that blood, sweat, and tears. that you
right.
mentioned.
And that's the beauty of art, because like you'll find your crowd, you'll find your audience. Just if you make art for art's sake and it's what you want to make, someone will what's the word?
Connect with it. What?
Connect with it. Yes. Someone will connect with it. If you are like genuine, someone will connect with it on a
Yeah.
genuine level.
Yeah. And it's
And that's
People
irreplaceable.
connect with harsh noise, so they'll connect with anything.
I like some harsh noise.
yeah.
I'm just I'm not throwing shade. It takes a lot of talent to make that stuff.
No,
and-
like the body.
but
I
just
love
the fact that
body.
like it's not it's not very melodic. Isn't like it appealed to like your like instincts in a way. You know what I mean?
Right. It's not like what you're taught in like music
very
theory
niche
classes is like this is what makes a good song. It's like, you need like a melody and a harmony underneath it. But then like say with like metal music, it's like it's just sort of like, or like hardcore music. A lot of it is like the riff that makes you feel something that makes you want to move.
Mhm.
Compared to like a traditional, it's like, oh, here's a melody that's catchy with a chord progression that works with it.
I try to have some catchy
Well,
riffs though. You know,
I'm not saying we can't have that, but like there's a lot of variety.
No, there are definitely going back to Uprising for a moment.
Yes.
There are
let's go back to
definitely
music.
catchy riffs
Mhm.
that I listened to the YouTube thing that you
Mhm.
sent. Thank you for sending
Of
that, by the way. Production sounds great. All
Mhm.
the songs are cool. Good job.
Yeah, do you,
That's
do you-
all I really
do you
have
have,
to
do you
say
have
about
anyone stood out to you?
Any song that stood out to me?
Yeah.
Well, I listened through it once, start to back.
Okay.
So I don't know of any of the songs that really stood out
Okay.
exactly.
That's
But
fair.
I listened to the entire thing.
Mhm.
I could have easily turned it off if I didn't like it.
Yeah.
So I can tell you that. No, it was cool. With writing, music, 'cause I think talking about everything that we have been talking about, I think there is, even though what the Uprising is doing is it is hardcore, punk, political, angry,
Mhm.
aggressive, but I do feel that there is a desire and an intention to still be somewhat accessible
Yeah.
in the music. Because I said that's what making me thinking of it. There are catchy riffs
Okay,
and there are
okay.
solid song structures, and the production is pretty clean and audible. Like
Yeah.
I
Shout
don't-
out Noah from Princess. He
Yeah,
shout
mixed
out
it.
to Noah. But and I don't want to say like sometimes like the word like palatable can be used like in a derogatory
Mhm,
way, but
right.
I mean it in like honestly as a high compliment.
I appreciate that.
I like the balance we've struck
Mhm.
because like I come from like a metal background, but I come from like a modern metal background, like Spirit Box, like
Sleep Token. Which,
Sleep Token. I mean, Sleep Token was never my favorite, but it's like the modern
Sleep
metal
Token's
scene
not
or
metal.
The stuff
Just
that
kidding, just
I
kidding.
like really like started like listening to like late high school, whatever, that I got really attached to was like very well produced stuff. Like say like Periphery, like is extremely like well and cleanly produced, and they're they got catchy riffs and shit. So like being able. I'm sorry, my thoughts are.
yeah. Well, I know I hear you saying that. And I'm glad you said that, and I appreciate it. And because there definitely is hardcore that's way more like it's way nastier. It's like grimier, and I enjoy that in like smaller doses. But like my shit has always been not melodic hardcore because that's its own genre, but like definitely the old school stuff, like Black Flag, Bad Brains, where there is more melody to that. It's not just like the nastiest like drop B, like just like dirt, 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 dirt.
Well,
Like
yeah.
I love that. And we put a little bit on our songs,
Yeah.
but like I do like try to be more melodic because that's the kind of music I like the most. Like my whole goal was to make the music that I like the most, to make more
Yeah,
of it.
well, that's very important,
Mhm.
to do what you want to do. But the thing that I think is good about what Uprising is doing from like a sonic perspective is that with it being like a little bit like easier to digest and not being so like gross and a caricature of this like heavy thing, it actually allows access for more people to come in to hear the message, to understand what's being said and like digest it in a way where it's like, oh, I know what these songs are about.
Yeah.
Like, like even though the songs have like harsh vocals, angry vocals, like I could still understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, like this is a song
okay.
about this or this is a song about that, rather than just like a bunch of
Yeah. Okay, to be fair, there's been a show or two where the audience was a bit older, like Axel Fest was one of them, and the one in Butler. And when we have a crowd like that, sometimes I will go because I'm like, these people might
They may not like our
commit a hate
message.
crime against me if they hear what I'm saying clearly. So I'm just gonna muffle it a little bit, make it a little less clear.
Oh, bummer.
But that was listen. Both of those shows were very early on in career. We haven't been in a situation like that recently, and I might I might be more in my headspace now too, more confident with the band and how far we've come to be clear about it nowadays. But those two were our earliest shows, and when I was less comfortable with it, I did like intentionally sing without clarity. Yeah.
So with the future, you got this album that's coming out very soon. Any other fun rollout plans? Have you done any music videos or anything like that?
No. See, so our drummer Eli, he's not here today. He's going to grad school in May. It's good for him, but he's like leaving the band because of that.
Yeah, grad school and a job.
Yeah. So later this month, we're gonna try to record the last couple tracks we have that he's played on. Try to release them later this month and just kind of see fizzle out of the band because it's not gonna be the same without him. But I'm trying to go hard these last couple months.
Yeah.
But yeah, and DB and Eve, they're working on like an even heavier project.
Yeah. Wrong. We don't really have anything like released for that. We have like an Instagram page or whatever, but I'm using a 9-string guitar for that.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, it's tuned like the lowest string on that is like the low A on a piano. It is like it's such a stupid instrument, but you can create some really. It is a stupid. You could land a model airplane on that fretboard.
Yeah.
Like yeah, but I have it in like the most disgusting tuning imaginable. It's just like a triple stacked power chord with a diminished chord on top, so it's just
Yeah.
It's so dumb. It's so much fun. And that's like more my wheelhouse. Like I love like writing like heavier stuff, or like like a lot of the stuff we're using for that is technically released. I have a SoundCloud that like I release like at the end of the year. I always like release all the demos I don't use for like archival purposes. It's like and doing that has created some cool opportunities for me. I recommend any like musician who like records their own shit to just release it on like SoundCloud. Not a big release, just have it there. And I was inspired by Periphery, who I mentioned earlier. Their guitarist, Misha Mansour, released a bunch of demos. Like, just like it was like in the MySpace days. He just like recorded stuff and released demos, and then that became Periphery.
Yeah.
And Wrong is kind of a similar direction. Like I just released stuff, and then our bassist DB is like, hey, I really like this, and I want to like play this live and like evolve on this concept. So like a couple of those songs I've released on SoundCloud are gonna be, and some of which I made in like high school, are gonna be part of Wrong, which is really cool. It's cool to see like art I made so long ago like inspire someone. It's a really cool feeling, and I truly do recommend any artist who just like makes like record stuff on the side, just release it.
Yeah.
Someone will like it.
Yeah, you never know like what type of a community you might find, and even if it's only like a few people, that could end up being like a very big thing. I think that social media sometimes can like put us into this mindset where it's like, oh, I put all of this work into something and I put it out there and only 50 people listen to it.
50 people listen to it.
That's a lot of fucking people.
Like imagine like, I've played shows to 50 people. It was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it's a little bit easier sometimes to, again, it's like, cause we're all dumping stuff into like the same half dozen platforms at the end of the day. And like, it's all right alongside your Sabrina Carpenter's or whatever. And it's like, obviously that's a very wild comparison.
Well, that's like comparing my salary to like the CEO of the company I work for salary.
Sure.
It's a so you gotta remember, it's like, hey, like you're just another person here, and there's nothing wrong. Like it's not a failure to like release something on the internet and only 50 people listen to it. I like to treat that as a victory that 50 people listen to it.
I mean, honestly, the victory is even just getting it together and releasing it.
Exactly.
And that's also why I said before, like, I view these as very different worlds. I try not to even think about like even something that's more like in closer to a wheelhouse of something that I do. Because I mean, it's like Sabrina Carpenter's a ridiculous example, but like saying like a Spirit Box or a Loathe, they were in town last night, which is why we keep bringing up these two bands.
I got my shit rocked.
Those are bands that are doing very, very well, but still like operating on a like underground
Right.
level.
It's also cool, like playing live music. You get a lot of cool little experiences. Like I don't know if I mentioned this, like on the like part where like recording are gonna be you're gonna use in the video or podcast. But I play like we played a show January 31st, the Palestine benefit show at Spirit Hall, and Loathe played there like a year and a half before then. That was the first time I saw them in Pittsburgh. So it's a really cool like sort of like moment of playing on the same stage that like a really like big band or a band you respect a lot has played at, and it's like, oh, these are the steps. I've seen a band take the steps from where I'm at to somewhere bigger. It's inspiring in a way, but it's like it's like the Sabrina Carpenter to Uprising example is ridiculous. There's so many tiers. It's a staircase. There's so many tiers between that,
and also too, it's like these are things that don't even have similar origin stories.
No,
right? Like,
well, it's from
Sabrina
UK.
Carpenter's
Disney Channel.
a Disney kid, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like this is a completely different origin story than like a group full of people that meet in a small steel town and start making hardcore punk music
Right,
in basements.
and like a storage facility that rented out their top floor for studio spaces.
Yeah. Yeah, now we're in the basement though.
Yeah, now we're in a we actually went down to practice space. So it's like we started at that like little storage facility to our drummer went to Pitt. So because he went to Pitt, we had access to their studio. So we practiced at like the Pitt studio, which was cool. And then we went to our bassist basement because they have a drum kit and Eli graduated. So we didn't have access to it anymore.
Yeah.
But that was really cool. Like practicing in the studio, because that's how I grew up playing guitar. Like I always like I had like a little Focusrite Scarlett solo, and like I practiced guitar through like amp sims. That's how I learned.
Yeah, I mean that's a useful tool, and definitely if that technology would have been available when I was a kid, I probably would have like started playing guitar when I was like very, very young.
Yeah.
But like I lived in like a tiny apartment in low income housing, and there was no way I was ever gonna have like a guitar amp or anything
Right.
like that.
I was very fortunate with the things I had at the age I like in high school. Like my family is like middle class, we'll say, so they were able to afford to get me some nice things, and
Yeah.
I am grateful for that, because I would not, because like if I would like I started playing guitar like around like 7th grade, like and starting that earlier in your life, it's easier to learn a new skill like the younger you are.
Yeah, definitely. I started making beats and doing like audio production stuff when I was in like 7th, 8th grade. So like it was fun for a while, because like when I was like when we got into high school, like this was early 2000s, I was like the only person in my school that could like make beats or record music.
Same.
And like it was cool, but then like as time moved on, you started to see like more and more people having access to this, which I thought was great. But it's just interesting trying not to. I always tried to not be like boomery about it, because it was
Right.
always like like I remember like when Fruity Loops came out, and that was like a big deal, because it was like we could do all this stuff
It's
completely in the box, and
FL
I was like,
is very accessible too.
Yeah.
It's not like like Pro Tools, which is hard to use and overpriced. I hate Pro Tools.
Pro Tools sucks.
I hate Pro Tools. I took like a class in high school that was like music production. We had to use Pro Tools, and I use Reaper. I've already been using that for a year. I'm like, this is so much worse. And Reaper is $60 compared to Pro Tools. I don't even know how much. I know it's expensive.
I think they're probably doing the same thing that everybody does now, where
Subscription.
like it's a subscription thing.
The thing I love about Reaper, $60, you just have the license. And if you make more than a living wage with it, it's like if you make more than 22 grand a year, which is livable, we'll say, it's like you just pay $120 for the commercial license. That's it. And I think that's completely fair. And that's a good, healthy business practice, I'd say.
Yeah, I like Reaper. I used Reaper for a good bit. I use Studio One now, but Reaper's cool.
Yeah. Well, another thing is like I use Windows. I don't like Apple UI at all. Otherwise, I'd probably use like Logic or Cubase or something because those are DAWs that like, a lot of the bands I like use and are very powerful. Just like Reaper works very well on Windows. I would describe it. The hard part with Reaper is it's very Windowsy, if that makes sense. So it's like, but like once you learn it, you get comfortable with it.
No, that's an incredible way to describe it. It is very Windowsy.
It is very Windowsy.
For sure.
But you know what? That's part of the charm.
Yeah. I mean, it works. At the end of the day, it works.
No, like the album was like, so we recorded the drums with Noah, like so we could record a real drum kit because I can't do that in my house. But like we recorded all the guitars, bass, and vocals like on my my Scarlett interface on Reaper, and it turned out great.
Mm-hmm.
It gets the job done very well.
Yeah, no, I think you all did a really, really great job on the record. So that was Noah tracked drums, you tracked guitar, bass, vocals, Noah mixed it.
Yes.
Is that what happened?
Yep.
Great.
Yeah.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah.
And then saved us money too, and
No,
more
yeah.
flexibility. Just do it whenever we want.
Because like drums are the hard thing to record. They are the hardest thing to
You
record.
gotta have like 7 microphones.
Yeah, you have 7 microphones. You gotta have space for a drum kit, which is its own challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, also like to get a good drum recording, like you have to be good about like, isolating microphones, having a well sound treated space on top of that. Like it's not an easy undertaking.
Sure. And somebody that can actually play the songs.
Yes. Like for all the stuff like I write, like I make a lot of what I call like song skeletons, like that I send to like, Uprising members like, hey, this is a song idea I wrote. If you want to play it, we'll play it. I programmed the drums and I programmed the bass actually for those. And like a lot of the stuff I have released has programmed. All the stuff I have released on like my SoundCloud that like I made, the drums are programmed, and like everything after like 2024 is like bass programmed too. Because it's just like convenient, and if it's just like to get the idea of a song across, it's perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think there's anything. I don't have like this holier than thou sort of perception or perspective on like using like MIDI stuff or
like,
using triggers or anything. It doesn't bother me.
A lot of big bands use Spirit Box. All of Spirit Box's albums, other than maybe their first, program drums, and they're huge, and it sounds amazing. So it's like, especially like program drums. It's just the nature of drums as an instrument is pretty easy to MIDIify.
Yeah. And I think too, for some certain styles of music, like I guess we're talking about like modern metal, Spirit Box is a perfect example where it's like, if you record a live kit for that band, it's going to get treated so much after the fact that it's going to sound electronic anyways.
Right.
So it's like, why you're like, it's like you're doing all of this extra work to kind of just come back to what something you could have had in the beginning versus like an Uprising where it's like you kind of need that almost like, I'd say like the grittiness that the Uprising stuff does have comes from everything not being locked into this like perfect metronome, quantized, and you have that human element of it sounding like people in a room playing music together.
I will say one of my this is like a weird band. Have you ever heard of the band Chat Pile?
Yeah.
They like have a drummer that plays drums on the records, but they play an electronic kit. And that's what's on the records. And it has this really cool sound. So you have the real playing, but the electronic sound, which is a really cool combination because the drums sound like, really like full front, like in your face. They have a really good sound to them, but it's like you get like the sloppiness of their playing and stuff. And it's like the way they record is just all in a room at once. So it's a cool combination that they have.
Yeah, I actually had no idea that was about. I've listened to Cool World.
That
record
album?
Yeah, I've listened to that a few times and I thought it was a really great record. But
have you listened to God's Country?
That
is better. Cool World's a great album. God's Country, one of my favorites of all time.
I will go back and listen to that. Indubitably. So before the train pulls around the station today on our episode here, is there anything that we haven't touched base on that we want to talk about? Any questions, comments, or concerns to bring up?
Well, we got our album release show.
Album release show, April 27th at SideQuest
with Phlegm, No Werewolves, and ... by the Deed. be there. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong camera.
Wait, is their name dot by the D? Is
They,
that
they
how
have
it
the
is?
3 dots in it.
Oh, I didn't know
I don't
that.
think they pronounce it like that, but yeah, they're cool.
Well, I'd hope not. It's not like sun is like sun O backwards bracket.
I mean, I
backwards
at
bracket.
least say Sun O. I don't care if they don't.
Well, yeah, but you don't say
pronounce
the
it.
backwards bracket.
Yeah, actually, yes, I do. I'm gonna start doing that now.
Cool. All right, so
I'm gonna say close parenthesis though, not backwards bracket.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess it's not a bracket. You are. Wait, no, parentheses.
Yes, the
I
round
can't
one.
read.
Yeah.
well, great. That's been our podcast.
That's been our podcast.
Be sure to check out the new release whenever it comes out. That's again, would you say the 22nd?
Under Threat, April 25th.
25th.
Yes.
Release show 27th.
Yes, you got time to listen to it for like 2 days and get all lyrics down
Yeah,
and
hell
chat
yeah.
with them.
Listen to it like on loop for those 2 days, so you get sick of it like completely.
Yeah.
Just get
And
all of the dopamine you can.
And we'll
out
get
of it.
exactly 3 cents if you do that.
Well, yeah, we'll make a whole 3 cents. And that will go to
Paying off my student loans.
What can we? Yeah.
No.
God, imagine being educated. God, going to college is the best decision I ever made.
Well, with all of that being said, that is all, folks. Thanks so much for being here. One more time. Bala, Eve, Uprising, make some noise.
Hey.
Phenomenal.
Hey.
I'll be back again next week with another episode. Same time, same place, same channel. You know the drill. My name is Brian Sykes House. Start the Beat is the podcast. 2025 is the year. And until next time, take care of yourselves. Take care of the people around you. Peace out. We did it. That was a podcast.
That was
There we
fun.
go. Yeah.
Yeah. It's great.